Hi, I'm Rochelle Travers, and this is the Standards Tech and Science Daily Podcast. Coming up, everything you need to know about Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, let's get into it. The UK government has given a £160 million push for the research and development of a near-unhackable quantum internet.
The quantum internet is a next generation network or network of networks that uses the principles of quantum mechanics to transmit information. Our current internet uses classical or conventional bits, which are zeros and ones. The quantum internet will use quantum bits or qubits, which are combinations of zeros and ones.
That's Professor Gerald Buller, who will lead the Integrated Quantum Networks Hub at Heriot-Watt University.
Potentially, that could allow for ultra-secure communication, guaranteed by the laws of physics, effectively. And also, it could connect up, say, quantum processors for faster data processing, or it could connect quantum sensors for much more advanced sensing capability.
The IQN Hub will focus on creating large-scale quantum networks, potentially leading to the development of a secure communications network and an internet free from hacking issues. It's one of 5 new hubs announced by the UK government, but Heriot-Watt University will also be involved in 3 of the others.
By using the quantum internet, it should be possible to exchange encryption keys that would be effectively unbreakable. And whilst on its own, that might not be the full solution. Possibly hybrid quantum and classical approaches would be used to improve the security. There are, of course, serious threats that come from the use of quantum processors, which reach a level of scalability that mean that they can unpick current security methods. But the quantum internet ought to be able to provide a much more advanced and secure network.
It's hoped eventually the scheme will help provide faster diagnosis for diseases, keep critical infrastructure safe from hostile threats, and improve the environment, with a target for Britain to become a quantum-enabled economy by 2035. However, it wouldn't necessarily completely replace our current internet.
We'll add certain functionalities. It may well be that we currently will use the internet as it stands or much more advanced versions of it. But perhaps for certain key functionalities, we would use the quantum internet and the distribution of quantum entanglement and all that entails to improve capabilities. We're really talking about trying to do something on a 10-year plus timescale here. So the full nature of what can be done is not entirely understood at this point.
Now,
we're recording. Truth is, your whole life is a lie.
Listen up, gamers. If you can't wait until Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out in the autumn, then don't worry. We've got a definitive roundup of everything we know so far about the upcoming release. Here's Evening Standard gaming writer Vicky Jessop.
Still being kept quite tightly in the wraps, but we know about the premise, and it's basically a direct sequel to Black Ops 2 and Black Ops Cold War, both of which came out quite a while ago now. It takes place in the 1990s during the Gulf War, and basically the idea is, the CIA has been infiltrated, so players will be joining an elite CIA off-grid team, basically, who have to go undercover to save the world.
The game is due to be released on the 25th of October on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Plus, it'll be the first game in the series to launch on Xbox Game Pass. This is also the first new entry in the series to come out since Microsoft acquired COD's developers, Activision Blizzard.
In terms of levels, it looks quite exciting. There'll be a mix, I think, between linear and open world levels, which kind of was trialed a little bit in Modern Warfare 3, although with kind of like dubious results. Players will be heading to a desert in Iraq, which is apparently the biggest map the makers have ever built. The Russian steppes. There'll be locations in the US. We found out a bit about some of the missions. In one, the team has to sneak into a Bill Clinton fundraising gala to infiltrate a site beneath it. And yes, before you ask, there will be some familiar faces from the era popping up as well, including, but not limited to, George Bush, Margaret Thatcher and Saddam Hussein. So that should be interesting.
The game will also see the return of Call of Duty's beloved zombie mode. This will take the form of its own mini-campaign, picking up after the events of the Cold War, in the storyline dubbed Dark Ether.
The nice thing about recent Call of Duty games is they've kind of been drip feeding us a storyline across several years. So the zombie game or like mini game we'll see as part of Black Ops 6 will be a continuation of that. We'll get some new maps, some new movement features from the zombies, kind of zombie heaven.
Now, all COD players love a good beta, and there's plenty of opportunity this time around. People who pre-order will get to sample multiplayer from the 30th of August, almost 2 months before the game's official release. And a second preview session will be open to everyone a week after the first, allowing plenty of time for players to get to grips with the new weapons and features before the game properly launches.
Betas will be, when we find out a lot about the new game, but there will also be some kind of updates along the way, I imagine, and there will be a Call of Duty Next event on August the 28th. So we should be getting a look at stuff like the zombies viewable gameplay during that event as well.
Next. Soiled cat litter could be key to helping cure Alzheimer's and other neurological disorders. Research led by the University of Glasgow has used an engineered form of Toxoplasma gondii, a common parasite found in cat poo, to successfully deliver proteins to the brain in mice. In the past, neurological healthcare has been limited by the difficulty of delivering targeted treatment across the blood-brain barrier and into the correct location inside neurons. Toxoplasma gondii is believed to be carried in a dormant state by a third of the population worldwide, and has evolved to travel from the digestive system to the brain, where it secretes its proteins into neurons. Most neurological conditions have been linked in some way to protein dysfunction, and the potential to use engineered brain parasites to deliver treatment across the blood-brain barrier has been described as a global breakthrough, although it's still years away from becoming reality. Let's go to the ads. Coming up, why it looks like the iPhone 16 won't launch with Apple Intelligence, and Olympics fever reaches space. Welcome back. It's being reported that the upcoming iPhone 16 won't come with Apple Intelligence AI at launch. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who has a bit of a knack for sharing credible Apple info first, claimed the new set of upgrades, which were supposed to be part of iOS 18, have been pushed back to October. The alleged delay will give Apple more time to fix bugs, but it also means that iOS 18 and iPadOS 18 will come and go in September without the upgrades. As a result, the iPhone 16 probably won't ship with the AI overhaul, and may require an update several weeks after its release to unlock them. The iPhone 16 is expected to be announced in the second week of September. And finally, it's safe to say that Olympics fever has well and truly swept the globe, but it turns out it's actually gone even further. 6 NASA astronauts on board the International Space Station have been getting into the spirit so much that the US Space Agency has released a video of them performing various Olympic-related activities in zero gravity. From running, discus throwing, gymnastics to even weightlifting. Actually, maybe that should be weightless lifting. Astronaut Matthew Dominic even closed out the video with a message to the Olympic athletes competing.
Over the past few days on the International Space Station, we've had an absolute blast pretending to be Olympic athletes. We, of course, have had the benefit of weightlessness. We can't imagine how hard this must be to be such a world-class athlete doing your sports under actual gravity. So from all of us aboard the International Space Station to every single athlete in the Olympic Games, Godspeed!
You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Standard podcast for all the latest news and analysis. Tech and Science Daily will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.